Hello, good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present. Our top stories in the news tonight: the Lusaka City Council (LCC) moves in to quell vending in Lusaka's Central Business District. UPND spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa admits fueling confusion in the opposition Patriotic Front. Government dismisses claims of subjecting pupils to illicit content in schools. In international news, Somali forces respond as 10 civilians killed in jihadist attack in Mogadishu. And in sports news, preparations for the Zambia Women's Chess Championship have intensified.
Living in a wonderful country full of opportunities for investment in property. Make sure your investment is guaranteed. Are you in the process of buying or selling land or properties? Don't waste your time and money. Contact SGK Property Company on 0966 61 0755 or 0762 166018. SGK, a company that will conduct due diligence for you before you purchase any property. Go for a tried and tested genuine company in Zambia. SGK Property Consultants.
Hello again, another news in detail. Traders in Lusaka's Central Business District, CBD, have expressed concern over what they term as an attack launched by the Lusaka City Council, LCC, last evening, which has destroyed commodities worth 17,000 kwacha. In an interview with Camnet TV News, the traders have lamented that the incident happened at around 01 hours, where vehicles belonging to the LCC stormed through the CBD, removing their makeshift stands and commodities for sale. They have since appealed to the government to look into the matter and address it before it takes a drastic turn. More in this report.
Despite several attempts by the Lusaka City Council and other relevant authorities to rid the streets of vending, vendors still find their way into the streets selling all sorts of items. On Wednesday, 22nd February 2023, Lusaka City Council conducted an operation on the traders in the Central Business District, which has left their commodities damaged. The traders have lamented that the action by the Lusaka City Council is unfortunate as it has left them with massive losses.
Why didn't they inform us to say we are coming tomorrow so that we should remove our goods? We just found the as you can see my things are there. My tents mansimbi yachoka azifenzo kumenyana na muntu so pali open na saraso chapi ndio amene watu wanaongera vakanso yapaka maningi monga iseti matabe kutenga chabe maloni taoderako sometimes panda kuja kuma truck sita Kongo la katundu Manchester in life yake so sembelenzo ziba kutobwela kutonongera katundu mwana tonongera katundu so koza katundu mwana tonongera pata ili more than 16,000 so at least ngatona chitache alert kutatia wadea so mukachite bwanyi mukachose vintu vanu kuchira mamene vatorongera katundu sitizi wanapoya mbirana vochita pano sitiziva mwanzi na mangongole yavene ya maloni ene vake maloni swapa kabwela kuna ndama zao makatundu yaonongeka vatonongera makatundu amene yaonongeka kwa singa filipini yamene yaenda katundu patemo.
They have explained to Camnet News that the confrontation did not only leave their goods damaged but also paved way for thieves, leading to a loss of items amounting to 17,000 kwacha.
Venting in the town yose kuno. But on every venting yose without Panapalima Tower, the Pantonograph today. The first after 1 month, the president was at my vending was a fish. But the top of an visit, my very Chani. If I might survive, I'm not just not much better than school.
Katundu yonse na beti la fionse vakanso amatebo yonse na abasenda pimbi fionse pinto na fioneka pimbi na beba no kiwa na abasenda nomba kwika la kwasha no kotwala ikala so koza pele pa market epo tusabayivi la pewa na mayo ko tulesungira aba ne kusongera na mayanda kwa bitatu la kula ko tusongera na mayanda papeni ko tusungira na basiashi besu badi kula papeni mwamonaka nombe fyo batu chitalo vakansa watata wachitide kwino today edition atulelira kubuteko batu wafuidishe.
Meanwhile, Lusaka City Council Public Relations Manager Chola Mwamba tells Camnet TV News that the operation was staged at 01 to avoid confusion with the traders, as it would have proved futile if conducted in broad daylight. She explains that the action was done in order to send a warning to the vendors to vacate the streets and move into the markets to avoid the spread of cholera.
We went on the ground last night and destroyed over 500 pallets. The pallets are used as tables to display merchandise by street vendors. We thought it wise that we work along the stretch of ACC area and as well as Invest Trust area, the area actually surrounding Kolima Tower bus station. We saw it wise as a local authority that people may stop to operate from the streets because cooking from the streets and also doing street vending is actually against the Public Health Act. And we would like people vendors to go back to the markets.
Will the government resolve the issues surrounding vending, especially now that the country is fighting cholera? For now, we can only wait and see as events unfold. Beatrice Chabaya, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Alliance for Community Action Zambia has advised the government to reconsider its decision to allocate the same amount of resources under the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) to all constituencies. In an interview with Camnet News, Organization Programs Manager Jimmy Maliseni says some constituencies are so vast and the 28.3 million kwacha is not enough to handle all the challenges the constituencies are faced with. Mr. Maliseni says government should learn some lessons from the Tanzanian model of how CDF is allocated to constituencies, which has worked in developing the most disadvantaged constituencies.
As the ACA, we are of the view that the equitable distribution of CDF is better than the one-size-fits-all that we currently have in our country. We have Rufunsa constituency next door here, and we have Lusaka Central. I have nothing against the people that live in Lusaka Central. But when you look at both central government and constituency development fund projects in Lusaka Central, they do not have the same needs and vulnerabilities as Rufunsa, which is bigger than all the Lusaka constituencies put together, geographically. The poverty levels there are debilitating. There's no power 5-10 kilometers from the Great East Road inside of Rufunsa constituency. There's no piped water. There are no roads. There are no bridges. The biggest settlement in Lusaka Central, if my geography is correct, would be Baulen. Baulen is not anywhere near the poverty levels of, say, Namanongo, for instance, or Ndubulula in Rufunsa here. It's like being in 1950 and being in 2023. So yes, we understand there are poverty levels that must be addressed in Lusaka Central, but surely if we are being equitable, Lusaka Central cannot get the same amount of money as Rufunsa, which is next door. That's what our argument is. And so we think that the Tanzanian model, we can tailor it to meet our own purposes, is a model from which we need to learn as a country.
Government has dismissed claims that comprehensive sexuality education textbooks are containing pornographic material. Addressing the media in Lusaka Wednesday, Ministry of Information and Media Director spokesperson Tavo Kawana says all the comprehensive sexual education textbooks introduced in the Zambian curriculum are age appropriate and do not contain any explicit graphics as is being propagated on social media by non-government opponents. Mr. Kawana has since assured parents that their children are safe in schools and that no child should be deprived an opportunity of being in school for fear of having their morals corrupted. Meanwhile, the director spokesperson says government is closing in on all those who corruptly acquired properties and has warned members of the public to be wary of properties being cheaply sold. More in this report.
Tuesday, 21st February 2023, social media was awash with material of books depicting pornographic images which were being purported to have been included in the comprehensive sexuality education textbooks introduced in the Zambian school curriculum. This propaganda had raised a lot of eyebrows for most parents who felt displeased by the content of the material and wanted the government to explain if what was being reported on social media was indeed true. Government, in response to the concerns raised by some parents, has dismissed the allegations and says what is being circulated on social media is nowhere near what is contained in the textbooks. Ministry of Information and Media Director spokesperson Thabo Kawana now explains.
That material that is describing sexuality in a pornographic manner is not contained in this book. What is contained in this book, and you are free to check, are issues to do with what children can do when they find themselves in situations where they are abused, where they can report, how they can identify how not to be touched, how not to be abused by adults and so on. It is that level of education. This government is not irresponsible to a point where we can allow that pornographic material be taught to our children in schools.
Mr. Kawana has, however, assured parents that the comprehensive sexual education introduced in Zambia is age-appropriate and has pointed out that the propaganda to dent the image of government is being fueled by few individuals.
We want to assure the parents throughout the country that that is not true. The book that is being quoted on the front page is this one. And if you check the content of this book, there's absolutely nothing from that material which they purported to be coming from this book, when in fact not.
On the other hand, Mr. Kawana has warned members of the general public to be careful when buying properties, adding that the government is closing in on those who acquired properties through corruption, which has now resulted in some people trying to sell the properties at a giveaway price.
There are a lot of adverts, for example, for houses being sold at giveaway prices, for plots being sold at giveaway prices in affluent areas such as New Kasama, Makeni and so on. There are a lot of plots being advertised now. There are a lot of posh vehicles being sold, for a song. There are a lot of other posh items such as boats, motorbikes and so on. And they're getting rid of these because they don't want these things to be found on them, because they clearly know that these are proceeds of crime. We want to take the opportunity to caution members of the public not to procure such kind of items.
Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The first Secretary General of the Patriotic Front, Edwin Lifuekelo, has charged that some people have been sponsored by other forces that are fighting the Patriotic Front to kill the former ruling party because they have come to learn that the party is still popular. And Mr. Lifuekelo has called on party members not to be shaken by what is happening in the party, where Matero Member of Parliament Miles Sampa seems to be allegedly plotting the downfall of the party. He says demand that the Registrar of Societies acts within 7 days of receipt of the letter to compel the party to hold the elections for the vacant offices of President and all members of the Central Committee, as enshrined in the PF party constitution, is regrettable. Mr. Lifuekelo, who is also party deputy media director, says he expects those claiming that they love the party but they want it to be deregistered to check themselves.
All we can call is to call the members to be united, to ensure that once the dates are set, as and when the leadership of the party gives us direction when we will have the general conference, we'll be able to go to that general conference. But we have seen that there are people that want to kill the party. Deliberately, individuals are maneuvering to intimidate, to adulterate processes in the party. I do not see any sense, any logic in one that claims PF is his baby and then goes out there to go to court or goes out there to go to Registrar of Society with the intention of deregistering the political party. I think that's unacceptable, and the party will not accept such kind of political maneuvers. And we can only predict that these people that are doing such a thing are either being sponsored by other forces that are fighting PF, or generally they've made up their mind that they are on their way out. After all, we have had people that have been in this political party before they've left, they came back. We have accepted them.
Meanwhile, United Party for National Development UPND spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa has admitted of being among individuals in the UPND who are fueling confusion in the opposition Patriotic Front. Mr. Mwetwa told a media briefing that the UPND as a political party has nothing to do with PF intra-party wrangles, but some individuals, including him, want to test the endurance of the PF in opposition. He says the UPND, while in opposition, did withstand the pressure by the PF administration to see the party disintegrated. Meanwhile, Mr. Mwetwa says the UPND government is committed to enforce the rule of law and that no lawbreakers will be shielded. He was making reference to the arrest and charge of the Deputy Permanent Secretary for Luapula Province, Roy Mwansa, and 2 district commissioners, Fonchelenge and Mwansabombwe, for the offense of conveying property reasonably suspected to be stolen and carrying out mining operations without a license. More in this report.
The Zambian political landscape remains synonymous to yesteryears and holds on to the legacy in the game of politics where the incumbent government impedes the survival of the previous governing party. The opposition Patriotic Front, which is Zambia's major opposition political party, is seemingly heading the direction of former governing parties such as the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, MMD, which swallowed itself because of internal wrangles and protracted court cases. One of the PF aspiring presidential candidates, Mao Sampa, has taken legal action against senior party officials for suspending him from the party, a move that has portrayed division in the PF. And when asked about allegations of the United Party for National Development UPND being behind the confusion in the PF, UPND spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa admits being among individuals causing confusion in the PF. He told a press conference in Lusaka Wednesday that the PF's endurance in opposition is being put to the test.
The party in government, UPND, as a party, is not behind any of that disunity and chaos that is characterizing the Patriotic Front. The UPND has nothing to do with that. But some individuals in the UPND, like me, we are enjoying what we are seeing. Because we want to see if PF has what it takes to be a reliable alternative voice for the citizens. That is what it is to be in the opposition. That is baby cry by Nakachinda and the PF. Let them just accept that time has come for them to tell the nation that they have failed to rebrand and it is time to disintegrate and think of something else to do. There is life after PF.
And Mr. Mwetwa explained that the party will not embrace lawbreakers serving in its government. He was making reference to the arrest and charge of Deputy Permanent Secretary for Luapula Province, Roy Mwansa, and 2 district commissioners, Fonchelenge and Mwansabombwe, for the offense of conveying property reasonably suspected to be stolen and carrying out mining operations without a license.
Contrary to what we used to see before, where cadres of a ruling party would even have the audacity to storm a police station and begin to slap police officers and take the law into their own hands and get away with it. Under this administration, we are returning to those days of President Mwanawasa, where everyone knew that when you violate the law will visit you. So whoever does that, even us as ministers, we are aware. And we are being reminded in almost every meeting with the president. Whoever does this, whether a minister, the law will visit you.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Munali constituency member of parliament Mike Mposha has assured residents of Helen Kaunda, Mutendere, PHI and surrounding areas that his office has engaged the Road Development Agency RDA to work on all the dilapidated roads that have become almost impassable. In an interview, the minister has however attributed the delays to heavy rains being experienced in the district and has assured that once the rains come to an end, RDA will move in. He says he is aware of the challenges the bad state of the roads have posed to residents of the area and has asked the residents to exercise some patience. Last week, residents of Mtendere compound compared the potholes that have developed on the main roads to the size of drainages and complained that if government does not intervene, the area might be cut off from other parts of Lusaka. More in this report.
The state of most roads in Lusaka's Helen Kaunda, Mtendere and surrounding areas leaves much to be desired as they are becoming almost impassable due to the poor state. Most of the residents in the area have wondered why the government has taken too long to move in and work on the roads despite Mtendere market being one of the economic markets where most agriculture produce in the district end up.
It is also the same road that leads to Mtendere Health Clinic. So in this bad state in which it is, it becomes very dangerous for the patients now to be sustained in that ambulance.
But Monali, Member of Parliament Mike Mposha, who is also the Minister of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection, says he has already engaged the Road Development Agency on the matter, but says the delay to move on site is as a result of heavy rains being experienced in the district.
Most of these roads have developed huge, I don't even know whether we should call them potholes, but anyway, they are potholes. The issue is that we've been engaging Lusaka City Council. We've also engaged the RDA, who had moved on site. The other road that has really worsened is around Mtendere Market. The problem that we have now is that, look, we have flash floods, we have heavy rains, and you cannot repair roads. You cannot patch up roads during the rain season. We had started with the district road from Greatest Road to go up there. The patching up started, but when it started raining heavily, there was very little that could be done. So RDA requested that let's wait for the rains to go down a bit, and then from there we can move in.
He has since called on the residents in affected areas to exercise patience and wait on the rain season to come to an end, assuring that RDA will move on site and begin to work on the roads.
RDA has communicated with us. We have been in touch with them. As soon as the rains go down, we should be able to move and ensure that we patch up.
Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
An investigative officer from the Drug Enforcement Commission, DEC, has narrated before the Lusaka Magistrate Court how he heard former President Edgar Lungu's press aide, Amos Chanda, brag about how he burned a court record to ashes and bought immunity from prosecution at a cost of 45,000 kwacha. Testifying in a case where Chanda is accused of theft and destroying evidence, Jonas Siasamba has told Magistrate Irene Wishimanga that on the 30th of September 2022, whilst he was on duty at Sarova Hotel, he overheard Chanda telling the former Road Transport and Safety Agency Chief Executive Officer Zindaba Soko and others that they cannot be rearrested for a corruption case because they destroyed evidence and bought immunity. Chanda is facing a charge of theft and destroying of evidence, where he is alleged to have burned a court record of the Road Transport and Safety Agency speed camera corruption case, a document in relation to a matter he was facing in 2020. More in this report.
In the opening of trial in a criminal case against former presidential spokesperson Amos Chanda, the Lusaka's Magistrate Court has heard an audio recording purporting to be a conversation between the accused and two other persons he was jointly charged with in a previous matter he was facing before the subordinate court. Chanda, former President Edgar Lungu's press aide, is facing a charge of theft and destroying of evidence allegations which he denies. The Drug Enforcement Commission recently arrested the accused for allegedly stealing and burning a court record of the Road Transport and Safety Agency speed camera corruption case. This was in a matter Chanda was the third accused person jointly charged with Intelligent Mobility Solution Board Chairman Walid Eo Nahas and former RATSA Chief Executive Officer Zindaba Soko. In the recording of proceedings, the former Director of Public Prosecution had entered the nolle prosequi on the 12th of May 2020, and thereafter Mr. Chanda is alleged to have later burnt the court record, which was the property of the state. This morning, Wednesday, the 22nd of February 2023, in a trial that lasted more than 5 hours, an investigations officer from the Drug Enforcement Commission Jonas Siasawa testified interest. According to his testimony, he overheard Chanda telling the duo, among other things, how he paid 40,000 kwacha for immunity from prosecution, adding that there was no way they would be rearrested in the same case of speed cameras they were facing in 2020. With little knowledge that it was being recorded, Chanda is also alleged, according to the witness, to have assured Soko and Walid that he had burned to ashes the court record relating to the said matter of speed cameras. The court has also heard that Chanda, before he reached to Sarova Hotel, he had passed through the house of a Lusaka businessman, Vounded Finley, who is an associate of former President Edgar Lungu. And according to the witness, Chanda allegedly told the duo that Mr. Finley mentioned to him that the former head of state was still standing because himself, Chanda, had not yet said anything. The witness also produced the said recording before court as part of his evidence, which was heard. However, in cross-examination, the defense lawyers have discredited the witness testimony and argued that he is not a voice expert to determine if indeed the audios heard in the recordings are that of the accused person. The defense have also argued that if there was live music at the site, it is impossible to tell which voice it is. The matter stands adjourned to March 2023. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
A banker has testified before the Lusaka Magistrate Court that there was nothing suspicious or extraordinary about the transaction that the former Police Deputy Inspector General Charity Katanga dealt in. When the matter came up for continued trial, Isaac Walia, a banker at Zambia National Commercial Bank, told the Chief Resident Magistrate that in all the bank transactions in relation to the monies that were being credited into her account on various occasions, nothing unusual was noted. This is in a case in which Mrs. Katanga is facing one count of possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime. She is accused of possessing 10 Higer buses. More in this report.
As trial continues in the corruption case that former Deputy Inspector General of Police Charity Katanga is facing before the Lusaka's magistrate and is being tried under the Specialized Economic Financial Crimes Court, this morning, the 22nd of February 2023, the court has heard that there was nothing suspicious or extraordinary with the bank transaction that the former Police Deputy Inspector General Katanga dealt with. Isaac Walia, a banker at Zambia National Commercial Bank, ran the court through various transactions. According to the witness, his bank was visited by the Drug Enforcement Commission, who were seeking information on significant incomes and expenditure on the salary account Katanga used. On their other income to the account transfer was 400,000 kwacha dated November 29, 2018, with narration from the Minister of Finance. According to the witness, the accused also got 14,951 kwacha, her salary in January 2015, and she got 28,000 in October 2018. Mr. Walia told Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chimbwili that there was nothing suspicious about the transaction with the client. The accused is facing one count of possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime valued at over $2 million United States dollars and 1.5 million contrary to Section 71 of the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act, number 19 of 2010 of the laws of Zambia. It is alleged that the accused between the 1st of January 2017 and the 6th of June 2022 bought 10 Higer buses valued at over 26 million kwacha property believed to have been corruptly gained. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet Television Main News. We'll take our first break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our Zesco units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbanda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Living in a wonderful country full of opportunities for investment in property. Make sure your investment is guaranteed. Are you in the process of buying or selling land or properties? Don't waste your time and money. Contact SGK Property Company on 0966 610755 or 0762 166018. SGK, a company that will conduct due diligence for you before you purchase any property. Go for a tried and tested, genuine company in Zambia. SGK Property Consultants.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has urged the British government to complement Zambia in addressing challenges in the energy sector through foreign direct investments. President Hichilema says investing in the energy sector is vital towards the attainment of Zambia's aspirations as a regional hub for energy and economic growth. The head of state explains that overall Zambia wants to maximize electricity exports in the region. Speaking at the United Kingdom investors meeting at State House in Lusaka Wednesday, President Hichilema says his administration is committed to create favorable conditions for investors. And British envoy Nicholas Woolley emphasized that UK companies do not need to be given special advantage, but that government must create a conducive environment where Zambians benefit from deals in the energy sector.
Possible and to support this government's economic growth agenda. Very specific, and we've also set a target as a government that at the shortest possible time we would like to come to a position where the country is energy sufficient and actually surplus energy that we need to generate to be able to export into the region, Southern African Power Pool, that is already, we are already interconnected into that market, and indeed Congo, through the Congo interconnector, which is another area of investment. High Commissioner must indicate that generation is one, and diversified or energy mix is important. Hydro, obviously, solar, and I see some colleagues working on wind in the Eastern Province.
The Center for Trade Policy and Development, CTPD, has called on Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo to urgently act on the bilateral agreements to address barriers to trade at Kasumbalesa border. Recently, President Hakainde Hichilema held bilateral talks with his DRC counterpart Felix Tshisekedi on various issues that can strengthen the two nations during the sideline meeting of the 36th Ordinary Session of the African Union Assembly in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. CTPD researcher for trade and development Emmanuel Muma notes that improving trade operations at Kasumbalesa border will help to improve daily cross-border trade volumes and reduce long queues and related trade costs incurred by thousands of trucks carrying diverse goods and services through the border into DRC and other SADC countries. Mr. Muma has also advised the two countries to continue supporting small-scale traders, particularly women's inclusion in customs and protection from women vulnerability risks in informal cross-border trading places.
As the Center for Trade Policy and Development would like to commend the government of Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo for holding bilateral discussions regarding trade facilitation at Kasumbalesa border during the sideline meeting of the 36th ordinary session of the African Union Assembly in Ethiopia. CTPD believes that trade facilitation at Kasumbalesa is actually long overdue, and this is needed, urgently needed, to ensure that the border begins to operate efficiently and reduce daily trade costs that are associated with long queues. We also want to advise the two nations to keep assisting small-scale traders, especially women, inclusion in customs and protections from gender risks associated with trade at cross-border informal markets. The issue of gender is very critical, especially at borders, because women are usually vulnerable, and the issue of gender inequality must be actively addressed, and strategies for women's economic empowerment, especially through trade, must be mainstreamed and included in all development agenda.
Chililawombe Municipal Council, through the Department of Engineering, has awarded 22 ward development committees a vegetation control contract, also known as grass cutting. In a statement by Council Assistant Public Relations Manager Nambela Kiombela, the municipality seeks to clean and beautify the district as well as control pest breeding. Mrs. Kiombela says the council is concerned with the magnitude of overgrown grass within the district, especially that Chililawombe is within the rain belt. Therefore, wishing to curb and control the breeding of pests such as mosquitoes in the district, as well as improve visibility and safety for motorists on the road, as overgrown grass has the potential to obstruct road signs and oncoming traffic. Meanwhile, one of the engaged locals from Kafue Ward, Gladys Inambao, has thanked Kafue Ward Councillor Mr. Danny Lukwesa and the WDC for considering both women and men to participate in the vegetation control exercise. She said 10 women and 31 men from her ward have been engaged to cut grass along the international road and other selected areas within the district. We'll take our second and final break. Join us for more news in international and sports after the break.
Living in a wonderful country full of opportunities for investment in property. Make sure your investment is guaranteed. Are you in the process of buying or selling land or properties? Don't waste your time and money. Contact SGK Property Company on 0966 61 07 55 or 0762 16 6018. SGK, a company that will conduct due diligence for you before you purchase any property. Go for a tried and tested genuine company in Zambia. SGK Property Consultants.
And now in international news, Somalia government forces are beginning to respond to an attack on a house in the northern Mogadishu district of Abdiaziz, which killed 10 civilians. The attack has been claimed by Al-Shabaab, a jihadist group linked to Al-Qaeda. The raid took place around 12 GMT in the northern district of Abdiaziz, the government said, adding that the 3 civilians have been wounded. A soldier named Muhammad Ali, who was present at the scene, said the attackers stormed the building after blasting the main gate with explosives. He said they resorted to attacking the houses occupied by civilians after they were being defeated in the front lines. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
Somalian government forces are beginning to respond to an attack on a house in northern Mogadishu district of Abdiaziz, which killed 10 civilians. The attack in question has been claimed by Al-Shabaab, a jihadist group linked to Al-Qaeda. According to the government, security forces rescued and extracted many of the civilians from the house and other nearby buildings during the attack. In recent months, the Somali army and local clan militias have retaken chunks of the territory from the militant in an operation backed by US airstrikes and an African Union force known as ATMIS. But Al-Shabaab, which has been fighting the government since 2007, still control part of the countryside, where they've carried out numerous retaliatory attacks both in Somalia and in neighboring countries. The jihadis, who were forced out of the capital by the African Union troops in 2011, have frequently retaliated against the latest offensive with bloody strikes. Nigeria's ruling party candidate Bola Tinubu on Tuesday took the last lap of his presidential campaign in his Lagos power base, where he received a triumphant welcome at a packed stadium. Supporters of Nigeria's ruling All Progressive Party APC believe their candidate Bola Tinubu is fit to fix their country's problems.
The major problem in Nigeria, our economy. We know he has that skill, that is going to deal with the security, he's going to deal with our economy, he's going to deal with unemployment, he's going to deal with educational problems we have in this country.
If Asiwaju eventually becomes the president of our country, Federal Republic of Nigeria, I want him to look into the insecurity of our nation. Yes, the issue of food, we need food. We want job creation in our country as well, and I believe he's capable of doing all of this.
Double-digit inflation, weak economic growth and mounting insecurity are major issues for voters on February 25 when they choose a successor to incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari, due to step down after 2 terms allowed by the law.
It is we that this government has to come to his side. So please, I'm telling the whole Nigeria this time around, if we don't want to continue suffer in this nation again, vote for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, so that everything, all the problem will resolve. Because I believe
more than 93 million Nigerians are registered to vote in February 25 election. Dubbed the godfather of Lagos for the political influence he wields, Tinubu says his 2 terms as Lagos governor give him the experience Nigeria needs.
It's now time for sports news. In our sports news tonight, the Chess Federation of Zambia has disclosed that preparation for the Zambia Women's Open Chess Championship have intensified. Federation President Leslie Chikose says the tournament is slated for the 10th of March 2023 and will be held at the Fairview Hotel in Lusaka. Mr. Chikose has called on female chess players in the country in various categories to turn up and showcase their talent in the championship, which has attracted the participation of other African countries. Mr. Chikose tells Camnet Sports News that 5 teams have so far confirmed their participation, which includes Malawi, Kenya, Tanzania, Botswana and Mozambique. He says 100,000 kwacha is the budget for the holding of the tournament, and he has since called on the corporate community to come on board and partner with the federation to ensure that the successful hosting of the event.
So far, about 5 countries have confirmed, that is Kenya, Malawi, Tanzania, Botswana, and Mozambique. They have confirmed participating in this tournament. The tournament that will be federated, it will be held at Fairview Hotel. I would just like to call upon all the chess enthusiasts, the chess players, especially the women themselves. And when we talk about the women, basically we're not saying women, but basically we are looking at even the girl child. So there will be categories under 8, under 16, under 12, and so on. So they'll be able to showcase their talent. So we would just like to call upon the players that maybe were playing but now are in the corporate to come back and showcase their talents, the girl child in the schools to come, and also the national team players and everybody to come and enjoy a tournament for the women. And also we are calling upon the corporate world and the corporate partners to come in any way and support this very, very important tournament. As Chess Federation of Zambia, you know that we are very much committed to ensuring that there's inclusivity in the game of chess by including everybody. And this particular tournament, I think, is the first of its kind. And we want to see as many women as possible. We're expecting not less than 100 women.
On that chess note, we come to the end of Camnet Television main news. We look at the headlines once again. The Lusaka City Council moves in to quell vending in Lusaka's central business district. UPND spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa admits fueling confusion in the opposition Patriotic Front. Government dismisses claims of subjecting pupils to illicit content in schools. In international news, Somali forces respond as 10 civilians killed in jihadist attack in Mogadishu. And in sports news, preparation for the Zambia Women's Open Chess Championship have intensified. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from Ephesians 4 verse 25. Therefore, each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to his neighbor, for we are all members of one body. Once again, thank you for watching Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.